Hello and welcome back. Once again, we are on Talk Right today. And today we're going to talk about something which has been a very important four-letter word, and it's about time, time management. Something that we all grapple with, something that we all try to find out in this 24/7 world, whether there can be that 25 hours in life. But well, it's not. How do we still deal with it? How we manage, is what we're going to discuss in the 15, 20 odd minutes that we get on this session of Talk Right today with me, Santosh Sirur and Mayur Kalbag. Over to you, Mayur.
Yes, welcome viewers, and so nice to see you, Santosh. Um, I'd like to begin the session by saying that there's a proverb that I read when I was a school kid, and I think it was my father who read it to me. And it said that time and tide waits for no one. So when it was said to me, I didn't really know what tide was.
Yeah,
It was while in school. So then Dad explained that when you see a wave, when the wave happens, it doesn't go back, it's happened, then there's a new wave that comes in. So time is something where you can't bring it back. So he said, this is the time that you have, make the most of it. In the context was study hard, etc. Because he said if the time goes away, you can't bring it back. Like you can't say I wish I can take go back into time and do something. So I'd like to start off by saying that the attitude towards managing time, actually we never manage time is fixed, like Santosh was saying. I wish we could have had 25 hours, but we only have 24. It's managing the tasks with respect to time is what
yeah,
is typically perceived as time management. We
yeah,
are nobody to manage time. We can manage the way we deal with our work and do our work and execute our work, which in the way which will help us to do things in the right way within the right specified parameters of time. And before Santosh, you engage with me and the viewers from your perspective, what else you want to share, I just want to say that the key word for me, viewers, the key word, the key that opens me towards, the doors to effective management of time and work is planning. I've always felt that it all starts at a mental level in terms of how I plan in my mind about what I need to then execute in the real time. If I don't do that, then I believe everything, for me, planning is the foundation. Planning के बाद बाकी सब आ जाता है. तो then maybe Santosh can elaborate further with examples, but I just think that let's get one thing planted in our mind is अगर managing time important है आपके लिए, the first thing is awaken the attitude of not just saying, oh, it's very important to manage time. Not just that, that is okay. About attitude to start literally mentally planning आज क्या करना है,
yeah,
उसका क्या agenda क्या है, that way.
yeah. So it's about when you say planning, it's very important that let's talk about office work to begin with, because that's the key area that we are focusing on. And then, of course, we'll bring in the personal space. So prioritization of your tasks. And I will not just use the word prioritization, I will also say reprioritization. For example, you come in the morning at 9 a.m. and you have done this A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tasks. And at 11:30 maybe, or during lunchtime, you need to check back and you get some more work which is equally or rather more important, then you got to reprioritize. So prioritization and reprioritization work, and keeping sticking on to it, it's very important. Now what
Right.
is prioritization for you may not be prioritization for the another person, so you also got to do a fair judgment call. What is that is genuinely a prioritization for both the parties.
Yep.
Something coming in from a compliance department may be more important, may not be important to you, but important because they have to submit something to the regulator, example. So you got to even think on those terms. Secondly, and I think that's very important, is about managing interruptions. Very key. A lot of times we, coffee break, WhatsApp break, Facebook break, all these kind of breaks that come in got to be managed. Because otherwise you will end up just talking about time management in thin air. So
Yes.
key points, but very important points, I think so.
Santosh, I take you back into the aspect to do with attitude. And I want to share with our viewers something that happened in my life, which changed, which was like a strong turning point. And I want to share this, viewers. This was when I just started off my career as a trainer. And I had done a couple of sessions with organizations which gave me the confidence that I could approach bigger organizations. Interestingly, from one organization I got a contact. Word of mouth bahut chalta hai. So then that person from that earlier organization where I did the training, he introduced me to the HR executive of the new organization. Okay.
Yeah.
So I met the HR executive. I don't want to use real names. Let's call him Rahul. Rahul worked with that ABC company and he had got my reference, right? So mil gaye, superb rapport. Did all my presentation to him. In fact, I also did it to his team. He was a HR guy, HR manager or something. He was a very nice person. Acha rapport ban gaya. It took almost 2-3 weeks for me and him to, understand that, okay, we can go ahead. And we decided that there will be 3-4 topics related to management, etc. And modules भेजे सब कुछ हो गया. कमर्शियल का जब भी टाइम आया, कमर्शियल्स नेचुरली वो तो इंपॉर्टेंट है. कमर्शियल्स के टाइम पे ही सेड दैट मयूर इट लुक्स फाइन बट वी नीड टू गेट इट naturally permission should be or the green signal is from the managing approved from the managing director. तो बोला इतना ऊपर ऊपर तक बोलता है it's not only you are being assigned for these 3 topics, there are others for other topics, so it's a big project. And I said yeah I understand. So then he sent me a email saying that Friday 2 o'clock are you free for the meeting with the managing director? And he also, so I said yes I'm free because मैं free था. तो रिप्लाई भी कर दिया फ्री है. तो बाद में जब भी हम लोग का व्हाट्सएप चल रहा था, बिकॉज बाय नाउ वी हैड बिकम गुड रैपो हुआ था, तो मैं उसको थोड़ा बोला कि भाई है ना मैं अंदर price, because he knew the price ना. I was telling, he said yeah it's a formality, don't worry. Basically I think more than managing director wanted to meet all the trainers.
Yeah.
So he won't discuss about money, वो ठीक है. तो मैं okay, तो क्या हो गया, it was 1 week later, right? ये जो fix up हो गया ना, say it happened on Friday कि next Friday को meeting है, और मैं भूल गया.
Wow.
I forgot. Okay. And then somewhere I realized कि पता नहीं कैसे कि अरे आज मीटिंग है ऐसे. So it was not in my mind throughout कि इनको मिलना हो गया. But then I realized that 2 बजे का मीटिंग है on Friday. But then I thought ठीक है यार, मतलब सब कुछ तो हो गया है. So I planned it in a way where I finally ended up in the office at around 2 o'clock. ठीक है, मेरे मन में, now viewers listen, in my mind I already have got the project. This is a formality.
Yeah.
Everybody is aware of the fact in the company that that's the feel I got, and I was right. When I reached at 2 o'clock, by the time I went into the 10 बज गए, I had to do some, when I said office, वो lift वाला सब कुछ. By the time I ended up in the office, literally in their office, it was almost 10 minutes. I'm being very specific. When I was there, I didn't feel anything because 2:10 बजे थे, 2 बजे का meeting है. Remember, this is pretty early in my career. So that HR guy came in. He was looking very tensed up, a mixed emotion of tense and anger. And by then I known him, right? So I realized इसको होगा क्या है, like, remember my attitude is like इसको क्या हुआ है? So he comes up and says, किधर है? Where are you here? I was trying to even call you, किधर? तो मेरा क्या था, मोबाइल मैंने बैग पे रखा था, मैं ट्रेन पे जा रहा था, तो it didn't occur to me that मेरे लिए it's just 2 o'clock में 2 o'clock is I'll reach. हाँ नहीं, even if थोड़ा यहाँ वहाँ होगा तो भी ठीक है, is what my mentality was. Okay. When he said come I want to talk to you, तो थोड़ा मेरा हार्ट बीट का रैपिडिटी बढ़ गया कि talk to me क्या है. So he calls me and says, what happened? Our meeting was at 2 o'clock. And I'm like, yeah, so I'm there, no? He said, look at your watch, it's 2:15. And I'm like, हाँ तो क्या? And he said, what do you mean तो क्या? Mayur, the MD has been waiting from 1:50 because उसका जो 1-2 meetings हो गए. So he was in that room waiting for you because he knows, I had marked a BCC to him as well about 2 o'clock. It's 2:15. He has left. I said, what? Left as in? He's left as in he's not interested in meeting you. So I'm like, अच्छा मतलब तो हो रहा है ना?
You still had the audacity to ask him.
And he's like, Mayur, you know what? I'm sorry, but you know that, right? One of the topics that you were going to teach was time management. So I said, हाँ. तो बोलता है वही तो बोला मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर कि this trainer who doesn't himself respect time
Yeah.
How can we put him on board for time management? Mayur, let me be very honest, he's not happy. Other two topics, I'll try my best. But this is not good, Mayur. I mean, you're reaching a two, and look at your attitude, yeah. Tab tak wo rapo acha tha. So he was telling me on my face. He said, maybe next quarter mein hum log wapas try karenge. But he said one more thing, and I think you need to know this. He said that time mein agar delay is even by 1 or 2 minutes, not seconds, 1 or 2 minutes. And if there is this attitude कि कुछ नहीं हो मतलब चलता है, then he said we don't want this kind of a trainer because it will send a wrong precedent for our employees.
True.
And I was, viewers, I was because ये मेरा career का starting बड़ा project था रे, तो I was really out of place. It was my attitude where I thought that एक 10 मिनट में क्या होता है यार. Then I realized कि मेरा attitude same था पिक्चर देखने के लिए थिएटर के बाहर खड़ा रहने का, for my friend to come बोलेगा 10 मिनट क्या होता है रे. Same attitude percolated in my professionalism. But you know what, Santosh, that was very important for me. At that time, that manager would have said, "हाँ ठीक है यार, चलो आ जाओ यार करो."
Yeah.
I would have still had the same bad casual attitude towards time management. Friends, I'm sharing this with you because it's actually happened. I lost that deal, Santosh. I lost that deal, but it gave me many more deals later because I actually, it was a bad, mistake for me, but I learned a lot from it. I realized that every minute counts. If it's 2 o'clock, I have to be there at 1:50. कुछ भी हो. एक दोस्त ने मेरे को बोला, मयूर, बहुत लोग बोलते हैं यार 10 मिनट क्या होता है. Tell them, do they feel the same when they have to go to the airport to board the flight?
Yeah. Very
Because
simple.
they know that वहाँ पे 10 मिनट का भी वो, they will not take you. They be very polite and say, "I'm sorry, Mr. Kalbag, we may not be able to queue 10 minutes late." Then we have to probably do some jugaad and please, all that. फिर भी नहीं करते हैं. My point is, friends, it's all about attitude. एक मेरा जो mistake था, उसे deal तो गया, but I learned a lot. Don't do such mistakes to learn. मेरे experience से जरा सीखो.
Yeah. Actually,
Yes,
yeah,
Santosh.
true. You're true. This is one key element of it. Punctuality can make a lot of difference, can make a break, exactly what happened in your case. And apart from this, of course, from a time management perspective, I think the viewers must know that, we always talk about a to-do list, right? I mean, maintaining one, but there also should be, I would also say, strongly suggest a done list. Why? Because the moment you tick mark it's done, it kind of gives you a spirit of, encouragement that I managed to complete that task, and it kind of motivates you to do the next. That's one. When it comes to emails, and this is very key, because many times any typical organization, you have tons and hundreds of emails a day. One key way of managing that and how to track it is, if there's a key thing that is on you as a task, right? It's addressed directly to you and you're supposed to perform a task. I do something like that where I simply make a jot down of that mail, either that topic or that time of that mail or the day of that email, because it should not be off my mind. And I make sure that I address to that issue, because there are tons, 200 emails in that. Effectively, I find there are 7 or 8 key ones which I need to do in that day, but I just jot it down. So that's very important. So
Yeah.
a done task and just jotting down something is very important. And this, again, prioritization and again reprioritization. Another key is, I did speak about it, about reducing interruptions, right? Especially phone calls. You get too many phone calls sometimes. All phone need not be, addressed or answered. You got to be courteous enough to say, "I'll ping you later," or "I'll call you later," or something. But all phone need not be. It's like sometimes you got to say no to someone. Get into the mode,
Can I
get into that
can I
time.
can I
Yeah.
can I just
So,
add
yeah.
something here? Just add something here, viewers. One of the things I faced, and in our one of our episodes, we talked about awkwardness.
Hmm.
One of the things I faced is obligation, and this is in with respect or in the context of phone calls. This has happened to me as well, Santosh, where I felt awkward to tell the person that I have something else to do, and this guy is just going on. And
Yeah.
because he's senior, because I know that I'm doing work for his people,
Yeah.
how to really cut him off, because I don't
Yeah.
want to cut him off, because यहाँ पे क्या होता है, egos come into play. What if I say something like, okay, thanks, I have something else to do. He may not like it. So, but that's an area we need to really focus, because we are today in the age where we are more on laptops, we are more on phones, we are more on WhatsApps, we are more
Yeah.
on Zoom calls. So to be, so the again, the word we talked about in awkwardness session as well is being diplomatic and trying to give another, communicating another priority. For example, if Santosh, I'm with you on the phone, and viewers, listen to this. If suppose Santosh is talking to me and he's like going on, and I know that I'm done. You know, in the sense, the main जो point था वो discuss हो गया. But he has a lot of time. And he's not empathizing with me. He's not even asking me, hey, Mayur, are you free to talk? Or maybe, wo bhi nahi bata raha hai. So I have to be smart enough to say, Santosh, you know what? I'm really finding this very interesting. Sachi mein. Is it okay? Then we can again reconnect because I really want to listen to you, Santosh.
Yeah.
But kya hai na, ye chota sa kuch hai, ek finish kar leta hu. So you got to be polite. You got to be respectful. And you got to not really cut. You just got to say that this is part one. Let's have a part two. अभी वो part two कभी होगा वो अलग बात है.
Yeah.
That time you may take your time and say, okay, part two के लिए, you know, you can probably be smart enough to say another time or whatever.
Yeah.
But at that point, being respectful, being polite, but being very convinced is very important. And I need to cut this phone, disconnect, because there are many other things.
Correct.
Santosh, why I feel it's important is because कितना भी planning करे, कितना भी लिखे, but अगर हम लोग ये नहीं, you know, time wasters को ध्यान नहीं देते हैं, because ये waste हो रहा है ना time ज़्यादा. So if we don't do this, then whatever we write, it will not be effectively executed.
Yeah, you will end up being deprioritizing always.
Yeah, and it'll go to the next day, and you know it'll just get extended, postponed, and that, like you said, if you accomplish a task, you feel a sense of motivation. You know, you feel good. But on the other hand, if many tasks keep getting postponed, it can also demoralize you because it keeps pyramiding in your head. That creates stress as well.
Absolutely.
So just wanted to add this point of view about how to diplomatically sort of, you know, get away from lengthy conversations, which may not be of any, you know, value to you.
Yeah. Another thing, and I think is important, is that, you know, multitasking, you got to get used to multitasking. It is a habit you got to create. That's a given. And another very important area, and this is something which I feel a lot of people in organizations, you got to put a time limit on each of the tasks. Sometimes you just go on and on and on, and you end up a lot of time wasting. So you got to choose your battles. In the same way, you got to choose the timing that you're going to allocate on the tasks. Some may not be important or unimportant tasks. You manage it accordingly. And when I say that, when you got to put a time limit on your task, I also mean to say that somewhere you don't need to be an extreme perfectionist in everything. Just, you know, revisit the task later, fair enough. But somewhere that kind of mindset has to be built.
I think becoming a perfectionist and being stubborn about it can also affect our management of time. Yeah. Because then we get stubborn. You know, they say that there should be a thin line between perseverance and stubbornness. Yeah. So if you keep persevering, and then you realize you can't, but you still persevere. That I think we need to know where to stop that as well. I also want to bring in the aspect, viewers, about something very, very critical to time management, which is the power of delegation. You know, assigning roles and responsibilities as in the position that you are or you may be. Whatever you may call yourself, a team leader or a manager, but you have a team of more than two, you should be smart enough to know that delegation also is an excellent way to manage your time. Remember, there are many people who may be intellectually very aware of what is delegation. They will give you gyan, but they will not themselves delegate. And there are certain reasons. One is the lack of knowledge how to delegate, which is understandable. Maybe they can learn. But the other is insecurity and the fear of failure. So if I delegate to somebody, what if that person doesn't, you know, complete the task in the way that I want him or her to? To chhod do, main hi kar leta hu. So काफी सारे managers मैंने देखा है, they take it upon themselves. Everything. And they get stressed out, they mismanage time, and then they attend a lot of time management workshops and don't really implement some of the things.
Yeah, and so somehow they miss out the juniors on being groomed, you know, because they do it themselves. Yeah.
If they don't delegate, you know, Santosh, then many other negative repercussions of that happen. Na? The negative domino effect happens. Where will you, how will you mentor? अरे उसको दे दिया वो presentation करने को, उतने mistake उसने कर दिया यार, अभी छोड़ मैं उसको नहीं दूंगा. No, you help him to improve.
Yeah.
Because at the core, since this topic is, you know, delegation is like a management subject, but in the context of time management, when you assign friends, when you not assign, when you list down the tasks for yourself, try to tick mark those which you feel you can delegate to your team, and then assign which role or responsibility to whom based on two C's: competency and character.
Yeah.
Dono important hai. See, Santosh, I'm going a little detailed into this because this is in the professional context. There will be people with 20, 30 people, maybe in their team or more, maybe 10 people. But the attitude to say, I would like to delegate. And delegation with accountability.
Yeah.
So when you say, this is what I want you to do, time to them, कि मुझे कल तक वो चाहिए, and क्या हुआ है, अगर नहीं हुआ तो make them accountable. These are aspects and attributes of delegation which also will help you viewers to become a better time manager. Delegate effectively is what I basically am saying.
Yeah. Lastly, I would just say that also make the most of your waiting time. There's a lot of waiting time, and if you really look at it, it's quite a bit, you know. And when I say waiting time, it could be those lunch breaks, it could be your commuting,
Yeah.
it could be, you know, these are areas where you got to use that time and really effectively plan and, you know, introspect how was the day or what do you want to do in that day. So that is how, I mean, see, end of the day, time management is a vast area and a vast subject. We all know that, and it's again an individual character that puts the time management to test. So, but one makes an effort, a concerted effort, it makes a lot of difference. Yeah.
That sometimes comes as a barrier. You know, that procrastination part, it comes as a barrier, and it's all in the mind, no, Santosh? It's all in the mind.
Yeah. On that note, it's time to say goodbye and join us for another session on Talk Right today. From me, Santosh Sirur and Mayur Kalbag. Time to sign out and bye-bye.
And please share the email address, please, Santosh.
Which is talkrighttoday@gmail.com. And of course, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, which is Talk Right Today. Thank you once again for joining us.
And thank you, viewers, for investing your time. Bye-bye.